Your Majesties, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for always coming back. Thank you so much for being part of this little growing family, right? Hope you're well in all that you do and you're loving yourself and others like always, and you're living your life according to your own way, to your own terms, and you are being fulfilled and you're forging more connection with your creator, because that is what is paramount as we journey through this life struggles. Now, Jacob was the son of Abraham, right? Of Isaac. Isaac the son of Abraham, Jacob the son of Isaac. And you remember when Jacob's name was changed to Israel, because of the promises that the Creator has for him. He changed his name to what? To Israel. And then those who were his descendants are now called Israelites. Israelites are the descendants of Jacob, of Isaac, and of Abraham. Now, where were these people? They were in Western Africa. There was a video I made that explained the migration, where he was called out from and where he went into. I don't know, maybe I'm going to leave the link of that video somewhere so that we understand better. Now, can we get into it?
History is the teacher of life, and those who cannot remember the past are condemned to repeat it. Deuteronomy 32:7 tells us, "Remember the days of old. Reflect upon the years of other generations. Ask your father, and he will tell you, your elders, and they will inform you." Most of our parents are actually older than Ghana, so we should ask them, so they inform us about the past as the Torah commands. I had the opportunity to do this with my father not too long ago, and the wealth of information about our origins was quite breathtaking. Since I'm a Ga, I'm going to be talking about the Gandangbe's of Ghana. We the Gas of Ghana are Hebrews. We are Hebrew Israelites. A little education before the history lesson. When I say I'm a Hebrew Israelite, I am saying I'm not a Jew, and I am saying I don't practice Judaism. I'm going to define my terms now. Most people incorrectly associate the term Jew with Israel. While Jews are Israelites, not all Israelites are Jews. This is very clear in Scripture, yet it is one of the many misconceptions Christians tend to have. The word Hebrew in the original tongue, Ivri, is used for the first time in the Torah to describe Abraham, Genesis 14:13. This is our original name, Hebrew, Ivri. Another name used for us is children of Israel or Israelites, which refers to the fact that we are descendants of Jacob, who was also called Israel. The word Jew in Hebrew, Yehudi, is derived from the name Judah, which was the name of one of Jacob's 12 sons. Judah was the ancestor of one of the tribes of Israel, which was named after him. Likewise, the word Judaism really means Judaism, that is, the ism, the religion of Yehudi. Since I'm not from the tribe of Judah, I'm not a Jew, and I don't practice the ism of the Yehudi. Also, being a Hebrew does not mean I belong to a religious group. God did not send Moses to bring us out of Mizraim, Egypt, to start a religion. Read your Bibles very carefully. You will be to me a kingdom of priests, not a religion of priests or a religious groups of priests. We are a people, we are a nation. Just as Akan, Ashanti, Ewe are not religious groups, so too a Hebrew or a Jew is not a religious group. Then it will mean that studying the Torah is not a religious activity, but rather a cultural obligation. Now to history. Deuteronomy 28:64 tells us, "And the Lord will scatter you among all the nations, from one end of the earth to the other. And there you will serve other deities unknown to you, or your forefathers, deities of wood and stone." The Gas of Ghana are evidence of this 3,700-year-old prophecy. We the Gas are direct descendants of the Hebrew Israelites that migrated to West Africa by way of Egypt to the Gold Coast, modern Ghana. We migrated from Israel, having been exiled by the Assyrians about the 6th century BC, through Egypt, then to Ethiopia, where we settled in northern Ethiopia, where the Blue Nile originates. That is where the name Nai Wulumo comes from. Nai Wulumo means the high priest of the Nile. The Assyrians attacked us again while we were in Ethiopia. So from Ethiopia, we traveled through southern Sudan and settled in the period of time in Niger and then Nigeria. We migrated again and settled at Dahomey and later traveled to Togo, where we stayed briefly. From Togo, we traveled to the eastern banks of the River Volta, where we then crossed the River Volta at a place between the Old Bong and Akuse and established settlements on the plains. Later, we migrated to the plains between Lolovo and Osudoku Hills. This is why we guys say, Wogbejeke, meaning we are from far. We know that Jacob had 12 sons, Reuben, Simon, Levi, and Judah from Leah, then Joseph and Benjamin from Rahel, Gad and Asher from Zilpah, Dan and Naphtali from Bilhah. We the Gads are descendants of the 5th and 7th sons of Jacob, Dan and Gad. That's our name, Gad Dangbe. When we look at our customs, there are striking parallels. Our custom of circumcision of our male born, our Aldoran sanctification, what we called Bojemo, and the naming of our newly born on the 8th day after birth is in accordance with ancient Hebrew customs. We the Gads have 3 great annual feasts, festivals, if you would call them so, namely Homowo, Mayeli, and Mato. In the Torah, Homowo is the feast of Pesach and unleavened bread, what the church calls Passover. That is why there's no leaven in our Popoe. Mayeli is the feast of weeks, Shavuot, what the church calls Pentecost. Mato is the feast of ingathering, that is Tabernacles or Sukkot. In traditional Gamashi and other areas of Greater Accra, we the Gads used to paint the doorpost of our houses with the blood of a lamb during the Homowo festival. An unlearned mind will call this pagan. This was done to remember what the angel of God told Moses to ask the Israelites to do when they were under the bondage of Pharaoh in Mizraim. This is exactly what we do during the Homowo festival. Yes, we had to replace the blood of the lamb with the red mud when the lamb became too expensive for most Gads to afford. But it's not pagan at all. The ancestors of the Gad people are from long, long ago, Hebrew Israelites from the tribe of Gad and Dan. We have been miseducated to the extent that everything in our own culture is regarded as primitive or pagan, and many of our so-called educated people are victims of such psychological confusion. They unfortunately regard their self-esteem as violated if they are found to have anything to do with primitive languages instead of speaking foreign languages parrot-wise. We can trace this problem to the current pessimistic stance that the church as a whole has towards the Ghanaian local tradition. It is seen as something very backward and demonic. All that is Ghanaian is seen as evil. Not at all. Remember what Moses tells us. Remember the days of old. Reflect upon the years of other generations. Ask your father, and he will tell you. Your elders, and they will inform you. I'm proud to be a Ghanaian. I'm proud to be a Ga, a Hebrew Israelite from the tribe of Gad and Dan. Try.
One of the things that was pointed out by him that I want us to talk about seriously is this whole the church and local tradition of our people. This is why I keep saying it, that they want us to believe that all we practice is evil, all we practice against the law. But these things are things that are tradition. These are things that we as Israelites, we as Hebrews, we're practicing. It's just normal. You see, this issue of circumcision this is my culture, we do that. This 8 days celebration of a newborn, we do that. There are a whole lot of things that are practiced that when you get to the Bible, you see that, oh, it's just so in line. It's just so in line. And it's not just the Ghas of the Ghanaians alone. There are lots of cultures. You know, when you do history about your tribe, you go back, ask elders, go back to your roots and begin to discover, you will see that you have traced back to the 12 tribes. We are all traced back to the 12 tribes. My melanated people, this is something that is from the gene, and that is why I keep talking about mixture of gene. Getting married to Caucasians and mixing yourself and having mixed children and the rest of them. This is always having effect on us as a people. Now, there are a group of people that came and took our Torah. They took the Bible and removed and added, they omitted, added, they turn over, they push this aside, they try to do this, they try to do that, thinking that today, no, they never thought that there will be a time when people will have to go to history. They never thought that there will be a time people will want to know, will want to get to know the truth and go back to excavate and discover. Now, a lot of things are coming up because people are beginning to ask questions. Personally, I ask questions. Why is these things like this? Now, there are some traditions that we practice that are not evil. The evil ones you know within yourself. Of course, in everything, there is negativity. We have all this in us. We can be good, we can be bad at the same time. When we have traditions that are bad, we feel it, we know it's bad. Those are the ones we pull off. But there are traditions of ours that are not just things that are diabolical or whatever. These are things that connect us to our lineage, to our ancient parents, to our ancestors. Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. It's not just things that are just of wizardry, of witchcraft. There's somebody here, there was a video I made and one of you was seriously insisting. You know, a lot of us Africans, we are so brainwashed and colonized, mental colonization, we are sick mentally. In the sense that we do not even want to see anything good in everything we practice as African. We don't want to see anything good in everything that we practice as Israelites, as the melanated. We just feel everything about us is just evil. Because we have so pushed ourselves into the hands of these people and we are all brainwashed and it's working perfectly for them. There are a lot of things mentioned. I don't want this video to be so long, right? Alright, studying the Bible, the Torah. I'm calling it the Bible today because a lot of things were pulled out from there and then it was composed and it was called the Bible. In as much as there's a lot in the Bible that are not true. And that's why I say if you can get hold of a direct translation from the Hebrew, you get to compare them to what you have today. You see that there's a lot of gap. There's a lot. Mind you. Now, let me just use that word Bible because that's what we have today. Almost all of us can have access to, right? Studying the Bible is not a religious activity, but an obligation, a traditional obligation, which we ought to. Because, of course, these are rules, regulations, given to rest. Studying the Bible does not mean you have to be so religious to study. No, it's not religion we're talking about. It's the spirituality, the connection with the lineage. It's not, you know, a lot of things have been turned upside down, right? What do you think about this whole thing, what he said and everything around what you believe and feel? Leave them there at the section and I'll see you in my next one. Until then, love yourself, love others, stay safe, stay positive. Bye for now.